Facebook.com/That Business Show, and under the handle Twitter at Jamie_Maloney. Go ahead and bring on our second guest for the show, Jim Yeager of the Remodeler's Corner, a weekly feature here at 8:30 every Thursdays here on That Business Show with Jamie Maloney. Jim Yeager has 42 years of experience in floor covering and home remodeling. Yeager & Company is now celebrating its founding 70 years later and appears in multiple categories for the past 7 years by Angie's List Super Service Award. Jim, how are you doing today?
Doing great, Jamie. Thanks. Thanks for letting me come on here this morning and talk with you.
Yeah, you're usually in studio today. I know you had a little bit of a hiccup today. Is everything all right? I think I said your wife has had in a surgery today, so hopefully everything's all right with her.
It was yesterday, and give Susan a shout-out that she's doing good, and make sure that when you're young and growing up that you use sunblock. So
well,
down here. So
yeah, absolutely, good point. So Jim, introduce yourself to the audience and tell us first of all just a little bit more about Yeager & Company.
Sure. Well, thanks again for having me on this morning. We're located up in Odessa in the West Pasco Industrial Park. That's right off of Route 54, 2 miles west of Gun Highway. We are primarily a flooring company. That's our biggest calling, and that's where most our business comes from. Hardwood floors in particular, but not limited to hardwood floors. We do all sorts of different types of floors: carpeting, tile, laminate, the new LVT and LVP type products that are on the market. We do full remodeling, interior, kitchens, baths, a lot of bathrooms. We have probably 15 or 16 homes right now with major bath remodels, and so we pretty much cover all the different things. You want to move a wall, you want to remove popcorn, you want to add crown molding, chair rail, baseboards, new doors, interior doors, pretty much anything interior. And then exterior, we do have painting crews for exterior painting, gutters, pavers, pretty much about anything, to the home we can handle. If we don't do it, we have other associates that work with us that are fully licensed and can also aid in any type of remodeling.
And a big selling point for your company is the fact that you have employees doing the work and that you're not subbing this out to subcontractors. Just explain a little bit about what I'm talking about here.
Sure. And as far as the construction remodel part, they are all employees, and they're paid by us. They're under our workman's comp, under our liability insurance. We do, however, have subs in the flooring installation. We always have, as well as our own guys. Most every sub has worked with us for at least 12 or 13 years. There are reasons in some of these fields that the subs tend to work out better for them. As long as they have either workman's comp or the waiver, they have liability insurance, which then goes along with our $2 million worth of insurance. Subs aren't necessarily a bad thing in any type of business. It's, if they're licensed, if they carry all the proper credentials, if their work is stellar, if they've been with us for over 10 years, that their work is good. So it's not always a bad thing for subs, but the big thing is to have a licensed contractor. I mean, that's the big critical part that you have to make sure of. And not only do they have the proper licensing, that they also have the liability insurance, and not just a certificate handed to the homeowner, but one that endorses them on the bottom with their name spelled out, their address spelled out, because if anything happens with regards to that insurance being dropped or canceled, there's instant notification, almost instant notification to that person they're doing work for that, hey, there's an issue there. There's something that needs to be looked at.
And we got to hear from I think he was one of your subs last week. I don't know if he was an employee. I think he was one of your subs. Oh, Charlie the plumber was on the. You got to get him in here a little bit more with you and everything. That was quite the entertaining segment we had last week. How's Charlie doing? Is he listening today?
I'm sure Charlie's listening in. I can't wait till we put on that live feature where they can call in. But Charlie, not a good, great American, obviously, and it's amazing. We're doing a job, water restoration, pipe broke in a toilet, and I've known this man. I put floors in his house, I think, 7 or 8 years ago, and unfortunately, they were out of town. They have a home in Washington State, and the daughter came over and just used the John in the master bath, and went home. Next day, came back in to do something, to tend to something, and the house is flooded. by a $3 part behind the toilet. But Charlie went over to take a look after the insurance company was there, after the dry out was done. I had Charlie go over before we go putting all new floors in to make sure that the hodgepodge work that was done by the builder was corrected, so, God forbid that would ever happen again. But knowing the man, I knew he was a Southwest airline pilot, he was a pilot for all his career, but I didn't know that he was a Phantom jet fighter in Vietnam.
Oh, wow.
I think I'd seen his war wall, if you'll call it, that showed that he was a full bird colonel, but I had no idea to the extent of what this man has done, for our country. And Charlie said, "Never you mind, Jim, don't worry." He said, "I gave him a big hug and welcomed him back." So when I talked to my customer, Jim, he had said, "Yeah, that's Charlie." He said, "He's a great guy," and he was just thrilled with that experience. Plus, Charlie will get him squared away and working right, and it's just amazing. When Charlie goes out, he was at another one of our customers' houses that we're getting ready to do a large remodel for over in the West Chase area. And when he came back from that particular job here, that man was a POW in Vietnam. Again, I had no idea. It's just amazing that Charlie can bring, these different things back, and prayed with the guy and Charlie. So we plan to have him as a regular on the show. Very, very good, Charlie Pelavita, and that's Charlie's Plumbing in Odessa.
Yeah, he was quite the character. He came in. You asked me if you could come in. You said, "Hey, can I bring my plumber in?" I thought, okay, it's going to be kind of a slow segment bringing in a plumber. No, it was quite an entertaining segment having him in here. He came in the studio and he goes, "Where are those 970 guys at?" And talking about Jack Harris and Ted Webb who do the morning show. And I was like, "Well, they're over there." He's like, "I want to talk to them." So I walked over there. I grabbed their show producer. And I said, "This is," so he's like, "I know who this guy is." Apparently he calls them all the time and everything. So when they went on break, he went in, they shook hands with him and everything. So he's quite the radio superstar. So you'll probably hear from him quite often as well. So I appreciate you introducing him to me. He's quite the character.
Yeah, he's quite a character. And the importance of having the proper people to do the work. One of the things that I wanted to just take a minute and just, we were called on a job. It was last year, towards the mid or latter part of last year, for beautiful home out in Odessa, older home that was rehabbed, and local folks went in and bid this job out and did the job. Very high-end home, high-end parts, on a well, of course, in Odessa, out off in the backwoods there some, and they had all this different special type of plumbing that were put in, the kind of things you see on TV where the guy's singing on, for the shower parts, that it's like a car wash. They're hitting you in the back, the top, the sides, and what have you. And so the folks had this quite elaborate, very, very, very expensive, like $70,000 bathroom done. And when they went the very first time to turn on the water, it did come out, but it came out like drips because of all the pipes and all the different things. Just something as simple as knowing that you have to be on city water or a regular municipality water. It's not going to work off of a well. So to make matters even worse, the fact is, when it was turned on, it was only ever turned on like one or two times. Downstairs in this home, it's kind of like a split-level stilt house that's on one of the big lakes, Keystone, in Odessa. The water's running down through the ceiling of the lower floor, with all new floors that were installed, and just, you wouldn't believe it. But long story short, the plumbing wasn't done right to begin with. I mean, the whole job was a nightmare. But when the walls were opened up, the products were not waterproof. The backer boards, the stone, it was just an unbelievable, situation where it's ruining everything beneath, and the whole entire shower has to come apart. We ended up taking the whole bathroom, gutting it completely down because they never insulated behind the walls. There was just a real mess. But it all started with plumbing. Somebody went in and sold these folks tens of thousands of dollars worth of stuff that never in a million years would have worked. I mean, it's just a question of, do you get a guy that knows what he's doing, that's licensed? I mean, that should have been caught at the time of the sale. And
so they were using a contractor who wasn't even licensed, or was it licensed, or he just wasn't qualified, so it wasn't even licensed?
No license, no permit, no nothing.
And tell the audience how they can easily, check for this type of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, Florida Biz, it should be on the website. You can go in and check in 2 minutes. Today we're so fortunate to have the Internet in the sense that you can go into any company and see if they're licensed, see if there's any claims against them. Angie's List, it's, a lot of people aren't not familiar with that service, but, I mean, there's not a better service there. As a matter of fact, I think I sent you an email yesterday that we finally got yesterday our different awards for 2014. And the reason that took the time that it did, because it's normally brought up in December of the actual year that the awards are given. This year, they had to verify that everybody did, in fact, have their license, that the license was in good standing, that it was to the company and not to somebody's brother or uncle, and that the insurance was there, and that the insurance had Angie's List listed as the additional insured. And it took all this time. I mean, we're almost into March, and so a lot of thinning out even there. Just because someone says they have it, don't believe it. Make sure, and then get references. If you don't have the ability to have an Angie's List, Better Business Bureau, we talked a little bit about that last week, that'll show you if there's any claims that are there or, that were there and fixed or what have you. But I think there's not a better thing out there than Angie's List, Florida Biz, Department of Consumer Affairs, word of mouth. Try to make sure, because, no matter what the package, bringing the information, bringing the estimate and what have you to you doesn't necessarily mean that is going to go the way that you want it to go. Yeah,
you have, I was looking at the email you sent me, you have 8 different categories for the Super Service Award, correct?
Yes. And again, that's 5% of the marketplace. And I don't know what anybody else has done in the town here in Tampa Bay, but I don't think there's really anybody that is even close to us in that. And again, they don't mean that even though you have this type of rating, doesn't mean there's not problems. Every job, guaranteed there's problems. Every job, guaranteed there's going to be things that are slow, things that weren't counted on. But it's all part of the process. I mean, the end result, we tell everybody the job takes as long as it takes to do it perfect. We won't even take a job that says it has to be done by the 12th. Now that's on remodel. That's on, heavy reconstruction of bathrooms and kitchens. Flooring, we're pretty much, we can tell you to the hour when that's going to be done. But as far as general construction goes, you never know what you're going to get into. And then most all companies, moderate-sized company, multi-million-dollar companies like ourselves, we have a lot of jobs. So if one slows up, it is going to affect the others. So we try to make sure that we let people know the expectations and the realization of what's going to happen in that job. But, on licensing and what have you, reputation, it's important. It's really important.
Yeah, no, what I'll tell, just for the public, I'll tell you what sets Yeager and Company apart, and Jim Yeager personally. I mean, you take the time to really talk to the clients. I was listening to you talk with one of the real estate agents in my office the other day. I think you spent like an hour with her on the phone, and it wasn't even a job that you were probably going to get. I think she was asking for a second opinion from you, but you took the time to really explain everything to her, and I really think that's a testament to yourself and to your company as well.
Thanks. And it's important. I talk to a lot of people all day long. They come to us mostly from the Angie's List. Yesterday we had a fella, by the way, I passed your folks on to him, has $1 million+ home in Odessa. Yep, getting ready to sell the home. And had me go in, and the funny thing was, I knew the development. I lived not even a half a mile away from it, in the poor side of town, not in $1 million home. But
right.
The fella's, all his wood's popping up off the floor. He wants to sell the house. Magnificent home. I mean, magnificent until you look at the floor. I know the builder that did it. I know he's not in business anymore. I know what he's doing now, and it's just obvious. And we actually have another thing that we're working through with the same individual. But, they cheap out. Here's a guy that's going to have to spend $25,000, $30,000, or he's going to have to just tell the person coming in, I'll give you an allowance, to replace the floors. But it's a sin, because if you've seen this house, I mean, you see them all the time. I mean, it's magnificent. It's decked out. but the floors look like a corduroy pair of jeans, or pants. It's a shame. And, you definitely want to get qualified individuals, licensed, insured, and references. Again, Angie's List, you hear me talk about that all the time.
Now, hold that point, Jim. I got to take a quick commercial break here, but hold it on the line. We'll come back and talk with you here in just a little bit more. If you're just tuning in, you've been listening to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business.
In the market for a reverse mortgage? Contact Access Reverse, a local company with personalized service in the Bay Area. Call them at 727-347-0305 or visit accessreverse.com for a no-cost, no-obligation consultation. They'll come to your home and speak with you about the best options for your reverse mortgage. Plus, they offer the lowest closing costs. Don't just get a reverse mortgage. Get the right reverse mortgage with Access Reverse. Visit accessreverse.com. NMLS number 4566. Are you in need of new flooring or ready to tackle that home remodeling project? Then contact Yeager & Company Incorporated, a family-owned, state-certified general contracting business with over 70 years of experience and the recipient of the Angie's List Super Service Award for the last 8 years in multiple categories. Yeager & Company comes to you with their shop-at-home flooring sales service, and their hardwood flooring refinishing is the very best in the Bay. Kitchen and bath design featuring American-made, well-born cabinets, and all work is done by employees, not subcontractors. Learn more at YeagerFlooring.com. Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage want you to experience the thrill of one-day underwriting and the comfort in knowing your loans will be clear to close in record time. While the competition looks to a lost closing date, Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage focus on their 12-day clear to close. They do this by utilizing their world-class operations staff to underwrite your loan within 6 hours, process your loan in 12 days, and have your loan closed in time. Underwritten in 6 hours, cleared to close in 12 days. Bud Spriggs and Movement Mortgage.
This report is brought to you by the National Highway Safety Traffic Administration and the Ad Council. At highway speeds, the average text takes your eyes off the road for about 5 seconds. That's enough time to travel the length of a football field. StopTextStopWrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
From the Bright House Network's Traffic Center.
We now have reports of a crash on Bruce B. Downs near Fowler Avenue. We are seeing heavy delays in both directions on Bruce B. Downs. Still seeing a slow ride on 75 southbound approaching I-4 because of a crash that's all off to the right side. And heavy delays on 275 northbound from about the hump of the Howard Franklin to Kennedy. See traffic problems? Call the injury firm of Abrahamson and Udelwick Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line, 866-545-9595.
The skies will start to clear and we'll see a high of around 67 today. Tonight, fair and cooler, a low of 52. Tomorrow, just a slight chance of rain, right around 20% with a high of 68.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney on 1250 Wins WHNZ. Once again, here's your host, Jamie Maloney.
Welcome back, everybody, to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business. Again, catch the show here on 1250 WHNZ weekdays at 8 a.m. and learn more about the show over at TampaBayRadio.com. Currently talking with Jim Yeager of Yeager & Company with the Remodeler's Corner, a weekly feature here Thursdays at 8:30. And Jim, you were telling me you were up in a conference in Atlanta, flooring convention. Tell me a little bit about what you learned up there.
Sure. And, one of the new things that you see, actually not so new, but a lot of talk about is these new pet-proof type carpet products that are on the market. Smart Strand is one you hear a lot about, and one that you definitely want to blog and to hear what people have to say about it. All of us that are in the industry need to sell the products that they bring out, the new generations of yarn systems and these new different types of pet products. And, we've had a number of different jobs. I remember going to one in Brandon. A gentleman paid quite a lot of money for a particular product that was pet-proof, and the dog had a big German Shepherd, older dog, and had some issues and stuff, and had, used the carpet as the outside lawn. Right. And I remember going to look at it and obviously taking the report and looking and seeing, and I remember turning it into the manufacturer, and the manufacturer came back and said, well, the dog, urinated on the carpet. Mm-hmm. And Well, yes, it says, urine proof. Oh, no, well, that's only, if they do it on Tuesdays between 2 and 3 and they have a cleaning crew in within 3 minutes and blah, 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 blah. So a lot of these warranties, the good thing is, again, a lot of good things, a lot of bad things with the Internet. But one of the good things is that you can go in and you can check and see what people are saying. If you don't have Angie's List, look for blogs. You can go in and name any type of product that you see in any industry that there is. But one of the cool things was, and I've been in the business for a long time, as you know, third generation. The majority of our history, my dad's company and my grandfather's company, was carpeting. I mean, we did that exclusively when I was growing up as a kid. They didn't even at that time, other than maybe some sheet vinyl or what have you, but carpet was the big thing. So I've been to these shows since I was a kid, to New York and Atlanta. Most of them are out west nowadays, but the fact is there's always a rebirth or rebranding of something that, works minimally or not at all. So when I seen at the show in Atlanta this past week, this new product out from Shaw, it's called Lifeguard, and so Chemical makes the product, and it is a product that no moisture will come through. So even though it has nap and textures and looks like any other carpet, they had it up on a plastic kind of bucket, if you will, and some dyed blue water. And you would put the water in. They made the carpet form like a ball, and the blue dye and water would not pass. It just rested in the carpet like a ball. So, for the first time, I've seen something that you could actually say is pet-proof. What does pet-proof mean? If you have a regular carpet that a dog urinates on, it's going to go through the carpet, through the backing, into the pad, down to the concrete subfloor. Cat, worse yet, obviously, because of the odors and stuff.
Yeah, because then it gets in that subfloor there, and then you just can't get that odor out of the property very well. Yeah.
Yeah, not at all. But this one doesn't pass. So what that means is it's going to lay on the top till you can blot it out. I would think that you'd want to have like a Bissell cleaner that extracts it. But it is good if you can catch it at the top. Still being a nylon carpet, if you don't get that out of there right away, it's not going to, it's going to come back up. That color, that stain or what have you is going to come back up. But if you can get it fast enough, meaning that it's got to be extracted, it can't be blotted, it has to be extracted. Because the other thing is, the dog can smell, urine, 1 part to 1,000,000 or whatever, so they're going to want to go back and spot usually in that area, or a cat, again, same or worse yet. So this one, as long as you can clean it out, a Bissell-type cleaner that can extract, appears that it might be good for those that want something soft underfoot and, that have pets. 80% of the population have pets, so they do and are trying to find things that will work. And in the carpet end of things, this new type carpet called Life Happens is going to be the thing that we believe will work the best.
Does it come clean very well too? I mean, it's not penetrating down to the subfloor, but how is it on stainage? I mean, does it come cleaner with cleaning products? Or talk a little bit about that. What do you think about that?
Sure. The big thing is with carpet is, first of all, for any warranty, it doesn't matter, pet-proof, schmet-proof, makes no difference. It has to be cleaned every 12 months by hot water extraction. So every 12 months, you're supposed to be cleaning the carpet anyway for any of these warranties to work. Nylon is the strongest yarn of any of those, but when it does have an accident, a stain, a spill, or what have you, it will come out, but it'll come back. We've all seen that, growing up, or we've been, anybody over the age of 20, 25 knows that stain's normally going to come back up. So with the things that we have at our disposal today, you should be able to, like with a $250 Bissell extractor, pull that out. The key is getting it out as soon as you can possibly get it out.
Yeah, the key then.
It sits.
Yes, I wasn't even more of that. I mean, you got to clean the carpets, every 12 months to keep the warranties, effective. Jim, we got about a minute left here, real quick before we go off the air. Give out contact information for the audience, how they get in touch with you.
Sure, you can Google us at Yeager Flooring, or it's YeagerFlooring.com, and we're located again at 2310 Success Drive in Odessa, Florida. We are a shop-at-home company. We run a large fleet of pretty red and white trucks out on the street filled with samples. Come right to your door, measure, give you some ideas before we show you pretty and ooh and ah. We can help you with a budget and, hopefully make your remodeling job a lot easier and no surprises.
All right. Jim, thank you very much for checking in this week, and I hope have a great day, and we'll hear you again here next Thursday at 8:30.
Thanks, Jamie. Take care.
All right, Jim, take care. Again, that was Jim Yeager of Yeager & Company, and learn more about his company over at YeagerFlooring.com. And also don't let the website name confuse you. They're also a general contracting firm specializing in remodeling and pretty much anything that you need with regards to the construction industry. And you can also catch their information over at my website, TampaBayRadio.com. I hope everybody has a great day, and I'll catch you all back in here tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. on That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business.